look at that. Fancy. We got a little brain and an image, creating your image. AI is painting your vision into reality. Okay, so it says failed to generate image. It's the local storage error again. Okay, so the image generation thing is working. And just like that, our project is done. No, I'm kidding, it's not done. Hello, in this video, we're gonna make an AI photo studio from scratch. Now, I want to go ahead and start by saying I'm going to run into bugs throughout this video. I'm going to run into problems, and if you're following me, you are also going to run into bugs. Not to worry, go to the link in the description. I have a video where I explain how it is that I go about fixing bugs. Along with that, if you've never vibe coded before and you're just starting from scratch, there are some things that you need to set up. I have a link in the description to a video where I start from scratch on a brand new computer and I get set up with a project with Claude Code. With all that being said, let's get right into it. First things first, I like to start with the Next.js boilerplate from Vercel. We're going to be using Vercel a good bit in this project, like I use Vercel a good bit in pretty much every project. And let's just call this AI photo time. There we go. All right, AI photo time. I'm gonna let that do its thing. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and make a new folder on my desktop and I'm gonna call it the same thing. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start a new terminal there. I use Ghosty, but I mean, really you can use whatever terminal you want. It doesn't matter as long as it works. That worked. I'm gonna go ahead, continue to dashboard, and I'm gonna start Claude Code. Then I'm gonna pop open the GitHub repository, just like that. And I'm gonna paste that in there and I'm just gonna say what I do with this. So I start the boilerplate and then I go to Claude Code and I'm like, I made this, it has code in it. So copy the code and then set the remote origin. All right, just like that, it's probably gonna be able to figure it out. In the meantime, I'm gonna pop open two things, one of which is the Shadcn MCP. Now the Shadcn MCP is what I use to get really great looking AI front ends. It works like a charm if you use it properly. Watch how I use it in this video and you'll see. And along with that, I'm going to pop open the Memberstack AI docs. Now, this is what we're using right now, and I am leaking this to the public in this video. I didn't tell anyone. We're working on an MCP server that is going to make things so much easier, and you're not going to need to use this. But in the meantime, go ahead and use this. It works. I've been using it, and it's great. This is going to make our auth, our payments, and our database work. First things first, let's let this finish over here. All right, I'm going to start a new terminal tab, and I'm going to run this right here. This Claude one. Paste that in. Beautiful. Okay, now the MCP server. Just like that, I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. Configuring MCP server, installing dependencies. All right, so this says it's done over here. I'm going to wait for that MCP server to be done, and then I'm going to restart Claude Code because it's not going to apply the MCP server until I do that. So this is taking a while. In the meantime, I'm going to try and kill the fly that's buzzing around my room so I don't have to deal with it anymore. Wish me luck. All right, he's dead. Okay, back to it. We got this going. Let's go ahead and restart Claude Code by doing /exit and then typing in Claude again. It's going to tell us, hey, you have a new MCP server. Do you want to use it? Yes, I want to use it. Okay, there we go. So now we have all of that. In this other terminal window, I'm just going to do npm install to install my dependencies. And then once that's done, there we go. I can do npm run dev, running at port 3000, so I can pop it open, and just like that, our project is done. No, I'm kidding, it's not done. But we have the boilerplate loading. That's a good start. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to say use Shadcn blocks and make me a nice looking login and sign up page. I'm not going to say make it work. I don't want it to work yet. In fact, I want to take this piece by piece until everything is right. All right, so I'm going to set it to plan mode. I just said, can you use Shadcn blocks to make me a nice login and sign up page? Don't make it work yet. Just do the UI. Keep it in default Shadcn styling for now. And at the end, we should have some pretty nice looking auth pages, which don't do anything yet. But again, piece by piece. All right, so we're good. We ran into a bug that I literally run into every single time, and that is it configures Tailwind, but it doesn't do it right, and so I have raw HTML. I told it that, it fixed it, and here we are. Here is our sign up page, and I mean, hey, it looks great. As you just saw in the fast forward, I went to pexels.com and I got an image for it, and that is what this one here with the Coliseum is. This is our sign in page. So, I mean, these look friggin' phenomenal, right? What I'm going to do at this point, because we successfully did what we were trying to do, is I'm just going to say push to main on GitHub. So it's going to save our checkpoint. We know we're good. All right, so we pushed to main on GitHub, and now we have these auth pages, and I want them to actually work. So we've given our AI context of Memberstack already, but we need to install it. We need to create an app. So I'm going to go to the Memberstack dashboard, and I'm just going to create a new app, and I'm going to call it AI Photo Studio, and I'm going to set it to other, and I'm going to create my application. So now I'm going to go to DevTools, test mode. I'm going to make sure it's in test mode. You can tell if your public key has this SB in it. If it doesn't, then click this and click it again, and it's gonna have that. Okay, so now I'm gonna send Claude my app ID and my public key. I'm gonna say install Memberstack and make these auth pages work. All right, so it says it's done. Let's just go ahead and type in some stuff and create account. Okay, it seems to have worked. It took me to the home page. I am getting a couple of errors. Locals, both of these I get literally all the time. They're super easy to fix. Let's go in Memberstack and let's check it out. Me@me.com has been created. Okay, so we have auth working at this point. Wonderful. First things first, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to send these two errors, and it should be able to fix those. And then after these errors have been resolved, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to use Shadcn blocks to make me a dashboard page with placeholders for now, and redirect people when they sign up or log in to that dashboard page. That's what we're going to use after to actually have our UI, our AI photo editor UI. And yeah, I'm going to get to it. You can watch me, and I will see you when it's done. All right, so it fixed those bugs. I'm just saying, great, it works. Now using Shadcn blocks, create me a dashboard page on /dashboard with placeholders. We will make the real UI once that is done. All right, so it made me a dashboard, and the dashboard looks phenomenal. That's why I say use Shadcn blocks. Here's the thing. This is not a photo studio, right? Obviously it's not. So I have a dashboard, and you might be thinking like, yeah, cool, you have a nice looking dashboard, but it's not usable because you're building something completely different. That's what you may think, my friend. But here's the deal. When you use Shadcn blocks like this, first of all, there are a lot of usable parts. Like I'm going to need a sidebar, right? When you use Shadcn blocks like this, AI kind of works off of your existing UI. Now, when I'm going to say, change my UI to do X, Y, and Z, it's going to basically use this as the benchmark for how it should look, spacing, all of that stuff. Are we going to run into some issues? Of course we are. But instead of just saying, make me this UI, and it's going to do whatever it wants to do, and it's going to try to save tokens, this time, it's actually going to have some sort of baseline for what looks good and what doesn't look good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, make my UI. And again, I don't want to make it work. I'm going to say what I want in the left sidebar and what I want each of those sidebar items to have. Now, might be better to chunk this up, but I'm just going to try to do it in one go. Basically, what I want to have is the first sidebar item. So right now we have quick create, whatever that is. This is basically going to be a AI photo creator. So I'm going to say quick create, turn that into something where someone can write a prompt, and then after that, it's going to show them an image. And then I'm going to say, give me another sidebar item, which is generation history. And it's somewhere that people can go and see all of their past generations. That is all I want in the sidebar for now. So I'm going to tell it to generate that UI. I'm going to specify, do not try to make it work, because if it goes and also tries to make it work, it's going to be too much. It's going to do a bad job. I'm just going to say make the UI. So let me write my prompt. All right, so I said now I want to make my UI. Again, using Shadcn with default styling, I want two sidebar items for now. Quick create and generation history. Quick create is going to have a text area with some suggestions for people to generate photos. Then below that, there's going to be the space where the image is going to show up. Then in generation history, it should show a list of all the things they generated in the past. I don't want you to make it work yet. I just want you to make the UI. Remember to use Shadcn with default styling exclusively. I mentioned that twice. I don't want it to forget that. So I'm going to turn it on plan mode. And once again, let it rip. All right, so we seem to have one error, but I mean, hey, it did what I asked it to do. I'm just going to send this in. It's the local storage error again. Get out of here, local storage error. Simple error, send, and fix it. Okay, goodbye. Anyways, all right, so we made our UI, and I mean, we have quick create, two quick create tabs. I don't know why. And generation history tab is not working. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. But this is the quick create UI that it create. Okay, well now this popped up. Let me fix these errors and then we'll get back. All right, great. So it fixed those things. Now we have the quick create tab. As we already saw, it looks great. And we have the generation history tab, which also looks pretty good. I mean, there's some basic issues, right? Like these should probably be in the middle, not, you know, off to the bottom. So the alignment on these cards is a bit weird. I'm going to tell it to fix the alignment on those cards. But other than that, it looks pretty great, I have to say. One issue I'm having here is that it isn't showing the active state of the tab that I'm on. So I'm going to have to fix that. But if we look down here, we can see context left until auto compact is 12%. When Claude Code, or I guess any agentic coder for that matter, auto compacts, it loses like all context of what you've been talking about. When it does this, your best bet is beforehand to end the conversation on your own terms before you move on to another feature. So we've made a lot of progress. Our UI is looking great. It's almost done. What I want to do now is I want to go ahead and just say push it to main on GitHub so that I have my checkpoint saved. Then I'm going to end the conversation and start a new one. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now that we pushed to main on GitHub and restarted our conversation, I'm going to let it know that it doesn't show an active state in the sidebar. All right, so it did get the active state working, but the active state just looks like the hover state. You can see over here, quick create is like that and is bold. Yeah, I want to fix that. I want the active state to be black background, white text. All right, there we go. To me, this looks a lot better. I can clearly see that I am on quick create, as if the heading here didn't already indicate that to me. So I would say this, our UI at this point is good enough that I want to get things working right now. We can still tweak the UI a little bit after, but I want to actually make things work. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Memberstack over here, and I'm going to go to data tables. So all you need to do is go to your URL if you don't have it in the sidebar yet, depends on when you're watching this video, and replace the end after your app ID with beta data tables, just like I did right here. And then you're going to see this screen. I'm going to go ahead and create a table. All right, so our table is going to be called generations. We're going to make the create rule any member, so any member can make one. Members can only see their own records, they can only update their own records, and they can only delete their own records. Let's go ahead and create that now. We have the table. Let's go to the fields and let's do prompt. That is a text field, very good. And then we're going to do generated image URL. And in this case, we're going to make it a URL. Like so, and I believe that is all that we need to do right now for the data tables. I don't think we really need anything else. So, okay, we have that now. Next, two things we're gonna need to do. So we need a place to actually store this image URL. And I've done that in the past with Amazon S3. I mean, it works. It's probably the industry standard, but it's kind of a pain. So if you remember at the start of this video, we deployed this with Vercel. I recently discovered Vercel Blob. So in your Vercel dashboard, go to storage, and then do create database, click blob, and continue. AI photo time blob, fine. Region, fine. That is all well and good. Okay, so we've got it right there. Now I'm gonna wanna get my blob API key, wherever that is. Okay, there it is. Well, hopefully you can't see it. It should be blurred. Okay, so we have the blob token right over here. So now I am going to have to prompt my AI. And what I'm going to say is that I made Memberstack data tables. And this is the table. These are the fields in the table. I want it to work now for someone to generate images. It should save these images in Vercel Blob and then add the URL into Memberstack data tables. So I'm going to go ahead and write up my prompt right now. All right, so I've said now I want to make my UI work. Here's my stack. I have Memberstack data tables. I've made a table called generations, and it has a text field prompt and a URL field generated image URL. I want you to use the Gemini/Nano Banana API to generate images, and when they've been generated, I want you to save them to Memberstack data tables. My Vercel Blob key is blank. My Gemini API key is blank. Here's the API docs for Gemini 2.5 image. So I provided it with these docs because I know that it didn't have it. So quick thing that I want to say on security here is I'm sending my API keys here to Claude. You probably shouldn't do that. I don't care because I'm actually going to be deleting these API keys right after this video, so it literally does not matter for me. But you're better off just not giving it your API keys. It's going to make it a placeholder, and then you manually can go and swap those out. Again, in this case, I personally, for me, do not care. So I'm going to set this in plan mode. I'm going to pop open my dashboard, and again, gonna let it rip. All right, so it claims that all of this stuff works. I'm very skeptical. That was a beefy prompt. I'm seeing an issue right here. So again, the local storage issue. Okay, so I'm gonna say getting this issue and it should fix it. I'm really interested to see if this works. We'll find out. All right, so it seems to have fixed that. Let's go ahead and try it with this. Let's say a serene sunset over mountains, and let's generate it and see what happens. So there isn't really a loading state much. Okay, so it says failed to generate image. Let's find out why. I think I have an idea. I think it's trying to do server-side validation. And I haven't used my Memberstack API key for that. So, not sure. I'm going to go ahead and fix this bug and see what is going on. Okay, so the image generation thing is working. Take a look at that. I did this prompt, modern cityscape at night, and it generated this for me. It now says I can share it. Oh, geez, the share button actually works. That's super cool. Download button, does that work? Yeah, I mean, it opens it in a new tab. I'd rather it actually just download it. Does generation history work? Let's find out. Okay, so it says no generations yet. Let's go ahead and find out what the issue is. I'm going to check the Memberstack dashboard over here, and I'm going to see if it's saving the generation or if it's not. Okay, so right now it is not saving the generation. Let me just switch off and on test mode just to confirm that. Okay, great. So I'm going to say the AI side of things is working. It's generating me an image, but it's not saving anything to Memberstack data tables. Let's figure out why. All right, so it claims it's working. I will be the judge of that. Peaceful garden with cherry blossoms. Let's generate. Okay, so it didn't show it in the dashboard, but it did actually go ahead and create it. So I'm just going to go ahead and try one more time. Let's do vibrant underwater coral reef. Let's click generate and let's see if it shows us. Maybe that was just an issue on my end. Or maybe it was a problem with the app. If so, we're going to go ahead and fix it. Okay, so it indeed is. I don't really know how to explain this, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. All right, so it seems like generation history is also working. It's just not showing us the images for some reason. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this one fixed. All right, so it said it was a simple mismatch. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh. Let's check generation history now. Okay, so I'm still not seeing any images here. Let's go ahead and try to generate something and see. And then I might just need to tell it to go ahead and do the same thing on the generation history page. Nope, still not seeing it. All right, I'm going to fix this issue and then I will get back to you. All right, so now we got it working. Now it's actually showing me this on the front end. Beautiful. The next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to say, can you create a loading state? And also I'm going to check generation history here. Okay, so generation history is also showing it so we can see that. We can download our past generations. It's showing it right here. We can share them even. So awesome. Okay, I'm just going to say, make me a nice loading state. All right, so it says it made me a loading state. Now I want to have some fun with the images. I'm going to say, make me a picture of Peter Griffin as a real person. All right, let's see this loading state. Oh, look at that. Fancy. We got a little brain and an image, creating your image. AI is painting your vision into reality. Okay, it did not work. That may have been due to my prompt, so let's go back to futuristic robot in a lab. Or maybe we're running into another issue. We'll find out. Let's let it create. Okay, yeah, so that must have been due to the prompt. Beautiful. Okay, so this is now working. We can see our generation history. Again, futuristic robot in a lab, quick create. Okay, so now this is working. This is looking pretty good. Our AI photo studio is pretty much done. The next thing that I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna use TweakCN to make it look better. So if you don't know what TweakCN is, it's basically themes for Shadcn. There's a bunch of them, and you can also make your own and see how it looks live. So I'm just gonna go ahead and find one that I think looks nice. This one here, the Supabase one, is pretty nice. Amber, meh. Bold Tech, meh. Let's use Bubblegum. I'm usually more conservative with these themes. I usually try to use ones that are a bit more normal looking. This one's kind of funky. Let's go ahead and use this and see if it looks any good. All right, so there we go, and yeah, no, I don't like this. I actually do not like this one bit. So I'm gonna get a new TweakCN theme, and I'm gonna go back to my gut, which is just telling me to use something a little bit more normal. Okay, let's go with this cyberpunk one here, nice little pink theme. All right, so there we go. Take a look at this insane AI image studio that I have been able to create in, looking at the clock, even while waiting for Claude, an hour and 20 minutes. This all saves to Memberstack. It has working auth. It looks great. I am super happy with this. I hope you followed, and I hope you use this to actually create an AI image generation business that's going to make you some money. You know where to go for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you in the next one, and have a great day.